15 Minecraft bugs that Mojang never patched. Over the years, Minecraft has had plenty of glitches, and most of them get fixed in a later update. But today, the glitches we're covering Mojang either hasn't fixed yet or refuses to even address them. At this point, we might even call them features. And hey, the YouTube penguin bet me that it's impossible to subscribe to the channel before it crosses this icy lake. So to prove them wrong, water that red sub button down below. It's free and it helps out a ton. Number 1. Now, as a little thought experiment, I want you to look at this mob and try to guess what the glitch is. Go ahead, what do you think is wrong with it? Do you see it? Do you see the glitch yet? Well, I'll tell you that the glitch is that this is actually supposed to be a pig. Or rather, it was. See, creepers actually came into the game because of a failed pig model. Sure enough, Minecraft's most iconic mob came from one of the most mundane. So if you want to talk about the quintessential glitch that became a feature, this might be Minecraft's most famous. Or in fact, this might be one of the most famous glitches that ever became a feature in history. And thank God it did, because honestly, I cannot imagine Minecraft without a creeper. I mean, it's not often that your failed 3D model ends up on this much merch. Just saying. Number 2. So this is a weird one, because in fairness to Mojang, they have tried to get rid of this feature once or twice. And that, of course, is the many different X-ray bugs that exist in Minecraft. While I personally remember back in the day when I'd try to light up caves, I'd push a redstone block into my head, composters are way more of the popular option these days. And while sure, these glitches don't exactly work like the X-ray features and hacked clients, they aren't exactly intentional. But if for the time being you want to use this while Mojang still has it in the game, all you gotta do is push these different blocks into your player model, and just like that, you'll be seeing every unlit cave, and who knows, maybe even some diamonds down there. Number 3. The redstone community is one of the cornerstones of Minecraft. And for good reason, they do a lot of great stuff. But it's weird to think that so much of the community, at least in Java, is built around a glitch. The community calls it quasi connectivity. And what this refers to is a bug in the code that allows for a piston, as well as dispensers and droppers, to be activated when blocks directly above them or diagonally above them receive a redstone signal, even if they're not getting one directly, which sure enough means that we're able to power pistons like this, even if it doesn't make direct sense. And if you want any further proof that this is unintentional, it doesn't exist in Bedrock Edition. It's just the Java people who get to play around with this. And for all of you playing Bedrock, I hope for your sake it gets added in intentionally someday. Number 4. Minecraft has a couple of different blocks that are famously not able to be broken in survival. And while that's the case with command blocks and end portal frames, I think all of us think to Bedrock first. But even though our pickaxe might not do a great job at trying to get through this block, that doesn't mean it's not possible in survival. Because strange as it is, it actually seems like it's getting easier and easier in every coming update to get rid of Bedrock. While in the past I remember having to do this through different long redstone circuits and TNT minecarts and such, from now all the blocks that you need for it can fit easily in a hotbar. It's just getting that simple. And hey, I'm not complaining, it lets me build my Nether hub without any kind of gas. I see that as an absolute win. Number 5. One of the monumental discoveries that shaped the landscape of Minecraft Redstone has to be these block update detector switches. These bud switches, as the community likes to call them, are such an essential way to how we play the game. I mean, up until 1.11, it was the only way to tell if a block got updated. And folks, it doesn't take a lot of redstone know-how to see just how useful one of those could be for farms. Which is why, luckily for us, Mojang added these in officially through the form of observers. Now, that's not to say that the original bud switch isn't still in the game. As you can see here, both are working the same way. But what we do have here is convenience, which I think is how Mojang actually sought to replace it. Because if you ask me if I want to build this whole circuit or just place down one of these blocks with a face, I'm definitely taking my option with the straight face. Number 6. Now, of course, with Minecraft's wonky world generation, you're sometimes going to see non-flowing water. But that's not all that exciting, because as soon as you block update, it's just going to pour over. That is, unless you use this trick using seagrass and bone meal, because apparently that bug hasn't been fixed yet. With a setup like so, you can place a water bucket at the top of a 2-block structure, and then throw in some of that seagrass right there at the bottom and bone meal it. Just like that, remove the blocks on the sides, and you got your very own non-flowing water. And while that's cool, that's not even the last part, because as you can see, no block update is actually going to get this to flow over. Somehow the seagrass just keeps it all in that 1 cubic meter. So is this game breaking? I guess technically, but it's not exactly overpowered. Number 7. Anyone who's ever messed around with the enchanted books in Minecraft knows that certain things are mutually exclusive. So, for example, the way that it is in the current versions of Minecraft, you can't put together all the protection types onto one piece of armor. But strangely so, for a brief period of time back in 1.14, that wasn't the case. So after it got reported in the bug tracker, most people thought that was the end of it. But that's not the end of the story, because as you can see, if you made this armor back in 1.14 and then just continue to play through all the different versions of Minecraft, then as it goes, that armor didn't get updated, and it still functioned as a piece of armor with all the different protection types. So if you played Minecraft back in 1.14, you definitely have something to show for it. Number 8. Unless you build something in the spawn chunks, then most of the time, it's not going to get loaded if you're not there. At least that's how it was supposed to be. Clearly there were plenty of different unintentional methods to do this. And while most of us thought that every time one of these popped up, Mojang was just going to squish it like that, strangely enough, it actually became an intended feature through the help of Nether portal chunk loaders. The setup that we have here is super simple. All that's happening is that an item will get sent through the portal every 300 ticks. After that, the item comes back and then it goes through an infinite loop of loading the different chunks. In a lot of ways, this isn't too far from the way that it worked in bugs in the past. And I think I speak for everyone in the technical community when I say that there was a lot of rejoicing when we knew that this was in the game to stay. Number 9. While the 1.14 Village and Pillage update brought along a ton of new features, one of the famous ones was crawling, which is if you set yourself up like so, normally through the help of a trap door, you can actually crawl in 1-block spaces. This is very cool to see, and while you could say that it was based on some of the different modded implementations in the past, as it turns out, it really came into play when 1.9 brought along the elytra. There, you could pull it off as some form of side effect, which was pretty neat. And then when we had swimming introduced in 1.13, there was multiple different ways to pull it off. It just made sense to add it into the game. Thankfully, now we have a fully intentional way to get into our 1-block spaces. And more importantly, I think we really got to pay respects to 1.13 and 1.9 for helping along with this. Number 10. While blaze spawners make for a pretty popular way to get plenty of EXP in the Nether, anyone who's ever messed around with a fully automatic gold farm knows that the zombie piglins can offer their fair share. But one of the reasons for that actually bases around a glitch. You see, many people know that the way that their aggression system works is that when they get attacked, they actually get the other people around them angry as well. But what's interesting is that if we kill some of those auxiliary aggro pigmen, even if we don't touch them at all, they still drop EXP. And this is what allowed us to make fully automatic AFK gold farms for EXP in the Nether. And now, for the foreseeable future, this is now working as an intended mechanic, which is great for both us and our mending tools. Number 11. If you've ever messed around with the different world generation settings, then you're all too familiar with the idea of an amplified terrain. And if your computer can handle it, it's definitely a spectacle to go and fly around one of these things, which is why it's all the more curious that something so beautiful was created on accident. As Jeb describes, while working on some terrain generation, they accidentally messed up the coordinates. So not only did Jeb get to add in a very fantastic feature into the game, but nowadays that they're working on the new mountain generation for the caves and cliffs update, I'm sure some of those terrain generation mishaps are finally coming in full force in the intentional method, giving Minecraft two very different but also equally beautiful ways to touch up to the top of the sky. Number 12. For a long time in Minecraft, boats have been somewhat of a laughingstock. And while Mojang has thankfully ironed out the rough spots to make these work better in water, if you've been playing Minecraft long enough, then you know that they do their best work on an ice highway. This method makes for one of the fastest ways to travel in the game. And while their odd propulsion might seem like it's working unintentionally, according to the words right out of Mojang themselves, it actually is working as intended on the bug tracker, which is definitely fortunate for us and for our Nether hubs, because now we get to travel those thousands of blocks in the overworld, not only with style, but also with plenty of speed to back it up. Number 13. It's weird to think about that when elytras were first added into the game, there wasn't a way to make them fly. Rather, they were way more of a gliding technique. That is, until players found out the unintentional way of putting their bow to use. As you can see, when you're flying around with an elytra, all it takes is hitting yourself with a couple of punch 2 arrows, and boom, you're flying off into the indefinite. Now, even if we wouldn't exactly call this a bug, it definitely wasn't what Mojang had in mind. So, as a response, in 1.11 snapshot 16W50A, that's when we got the intended way of doing this, which was of course firework rockets. And thank goodness for that, because the last thing I'm trying to do while I'm exploring my world is land a couple of bullseyes on my head to keep myself going forward. Number 14. Minecraft's world generation can famously lead to plenty of weird and wacky sights. And among those, arguably the most common one that you're gonna see is different floating sand and gravel blocks. Now of course these are supposed to fall to the ground. You can see that when you block update them. Now initially this was treated as a bug, because obviously that's that's not exactly what you hope for when you make a world generation engine. But later on in Minecraft's life, Mojang made the very clever switcheroo of making it an intended feature. Because as you can see, if we just add in dust particles falling from the floating blocks, now it's alerting the player of a cave-in. Repackaging this bug is way more of a mechanic. And honestly, while I still think these blocks being suspended in air is pretty silly, I have to commend Mojang for their different way of looking at this. Number 15. Item duplication is normally a conversation that's sure to split a couple of players into different sides. But while I'll leave that discussion for them to hash out, I think the form of item duplication that most of us are totally fine with comes from one of these, a TNT duplication machine. It still hasn't been patched out, even though Mojang fully knows of it. Because the way that the story has gone so far is that Mojang has patched it out in the past, but since in the Java edition there's currently no way to make movable tile entities, meaning that you can't move TNT dispensers on a flying machine, there's no intended way to replace what the TNT duplication machine does. And honestly, if I've got to give up my TNT duping fun to have movable tile entities like chests and dispensers and droppers, I'm completely fine with that. And with that, folks, glitch that sub button down below and have a good one. Alright,